Of course, this is untrue, as scorpions are actually immune to their own venom. What happens is the scorpion lashes out wildly in defense and may indeed sting itself. But death is caused by overheating, not the venom of the sting. Now, he's not very venomous at all, which is why I'm able to handle him like this. Now, you can tell that because of the size of his pedipalps, or pincers. With this guy, he's got quite big pedipalps compared to the size of his body, and quite a small tail there. The scorpions with the smaller pedipalps and the large tails, they're the ones you've got to look out for. We'll pop him back so he can go home. Now, this is one of the few truly dangerous scorpions in the world. He's Hottentotta trilineatus, one of the fat-tailed scorpions. And unlike those we've met so far, you can tell by his large tail and small pedipalps that he's dangerous. Scorpions have neurotoxic venom, and drop for drop they're some of the most powerful venoms known to man. But even the dangerous ones will only sting you in defense, or if they're trapped in a corner. Scorpions may be the arthropods with the sting in their tail, but after the break we'll meet some of the biggest arthropods in the world. These are the armored giants, and like the scorpions with their pedipalps, these creatures have claws to be reckoned with. We're about to meet some of the largest arthropods in the world with some truly impressive claws. We'll also go hunting for some of the smaller characters. But first, we'll discover the reasons behind a crustacean's success. Crabs and lobsters, like spiders and insects, are part of the arthropod phylum. Arthropods all originally lived in the oceans, but whereas some like the scorpions and insects evolved into land animals, the crustaceans stayed. And so I've come down to the aquarium to take a closer look at these aquatic arthropods and discover some of the amazing facts about the way they live. Like the scorpions on land, crustaceans can be found in almost every part of the aquatic environment. Some are so tiny they actually live between grains of sand, but they also include some of the largest arthropods in the world. When I'm diving, I need weights to get to the bottom, as the water supports me and makes me float. The same principle means that marine arthropods can grow a lot larger than their land-living cousins. The weight of their heavy exoskeleton is supported by the salt water. Behind the scenes here at London Aquarium, right down in the basement, is where we'll meet some of their giant arthropods. And they're more familiar than you might think. This is a common lobster, a wonderful specimen of a marine arthropod. You can see it's got this wonderful hard exoskeleton all over its body and jointed legs, just like the rest of the arthropods. So it's fabulous, great pincers just on my arm there, which I'm supporting because they're so heavy. While these guys are out of water, they're too heavy to support themselves. One of the amazing things about common lobsters is the fact that they can actually taste with the base of their feet as they're wandering along the ocean floor. Now, the male lobsters can urinate in the faces of other males as they're finding the dominancy over an area. And when they meet again, when they taste the urine, they know they're not going to win and they back off. So next time you think about lobsters, don't just think about dinner. Meet the crawfish. It's another marine arthropod, similar to the lobster, but without the pincers at the front. Instead, it has these spikes on its front appendages for scraping around on the ocean floor. Crawfish are also known as spiny lobsters. They have these spines all over their carapace to help protect them from predators. They are also said to use their long, rough antennae like whips to defend themselves. Crawfish have a pair of appendages or legs attached to each segment of their body. But the front two pairs are modified into these long antennae. whilst the next few have been adapted into mouthparts. They then have 10 walking legs before you reach the fan-like tail at the rear. But the most familiar arthropod found in the ocean is probably the crab. Spider crab. This one's found off the coast of England, and oh, see, it's closing in on my fingers there. A lovely looking thing. With spines on his carapace at the back there. Now this hard exoskeleton may protect crustaceans from predators, but if they want to grow any larger, then they must shed it. And while the new shell is hardening, they're left with a soft, vulnerable body. This may put them at risk, but it's something that every crustacean has to do, and it has enabled some of them to grow into giants. Perhaps the largest known arthropod on Earth today is the Japanese spider crab. Living in the deep waters of the Pacific, the leg span of this giant can measure up to 4 meters. That's 13 feet from tip to tip. They are the scavengers of the deep, feeding on dead plants and animals that fall to the ocean floor. But the small crabs can be just as fascinating, and the South African beaches are home to a whole variety. This tiny little creature is a baby ghost crab. Now most ghost crabs bury themselves in the sand during the day in burrows up to 1 meter deep. So if I really want to see any activity, I'd better return at night when they're out foraging. Now finding them at night is easy enough. But catching them is something entirely different. These guys are known for their speed. Whew. Ow! Oh no! Hey! Yeah! Whew. Boy, they can run fast. Look at that. You can just make out his jointed legs and his hard exoskeleton that define him as an arthropod. And he sure does give a nasty pinch. Although these are quite small, they still hurt. Now he's called a ghost crab because of his white colour. There's lots of them around here. Ow! And you can see, ouch, he knows how to draw blood. Woo! We'll find another. Some mole crab. Now this little guy buries himself down just on the water's edge, sticks his little antennae up, waits for the water to come in, and then filter feeds as it's drawing out. He's got these mole-like appendages on the front for burrowing down into the ground. Mad-looking creatures. You can see this is a female because she's got this lovely orange cluster of eggs just underneath her tail, just down here. You can actually tell the age of mole crab eggs by their colour. The orange is yolk, and as the developing embryos use it up, they turn a translucent pale grey. A large female may hold up to 50,000 eggs under her tail. And amazingly, the mole crab tail contains sensory neurons with the largest diameter yet described in any animal. These are involved in digging. Watch this. It's another ghost crab. Look at the size of him. Look at that fella. Oh, I say fella, this is a female. She's absolutely full of eggs. And you can see the blacky grey area just at the bottom of the carapace there where her tail is. There could be hundreds of thousands of eggs under there, and just like the mole crab, you can age them by their colour. These will soon hatch, emerging as tiny free-swimming larvae that look nothing like their parents. There are so many eggs as only a tiny percentage will make it to adulthood. Now she could give me a really nasty nip, far worse than the last little fella, because her pincers are about 3 times the size. You can see she's put her eye stalks just down and she's protecting them so I can't peck them off. Crabs can breathe out of water as long as their gills are wet. And I've had this one out for a while, so I'd better put her back down so she can return to the sea. In the world of stings and claws, you can find some incredible arthropods with intriguing secrets, be they scorpions, crustaceans or insects. Scorpions are feared for their venom, but they're actually rarely dangerous and even caring parents. And when it comes to size, few compare to the clawed giants of the ocean floor, the armoured crustaceans and the ghosts of the night. So take a different look. Are you going to tread more carefully from now on?